Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from AnthonyMorganti.com, and this is episode 198 of Photo Critiques. And in this episode, I'm pleased to critique the work of Adull. And I'm not even going to try to say your last name, Adull, because I'll embarrass myself trying to say it. I'm probably even mispronouncing your first name. But either way, Adull sent me in some really nice images. This first one, the chickadee, is a really nice image of the background's beautiful bokeh. You can see how it's totally blurred out using that wide open aperture of 5.6 at this lens at 200 millimeters. Really well done. The focus on the bird has to be a little better. It's a little blurry. We have to focus on the eye of the bird, and it would be a much stronger image. This shot here, too, it looks like it pulled focus around the neck, so we're a little blurry around the eye, we're a little blurry at the belly. This was wide open too at 3.5 at this 85 millimeter lens. It's a very tough image to get because the background is so bright. So Adull did a really nice job of getting the exposure down on this. It's just really hard. This is a really hard image to capture. This shot here, nice composition, nice colors. We're just a little blurry too on the eye. We really got to focus on that bird's eye. Now this shot here is really nice. The focus is very good, and Adull used high-speed flash on this. You can see it is 1/8,000th of a second, f11 ISO 800. So what happens is the flash just puts out like a kind of a continuous burst of flashes, but it really only lasts like a split second, but it's continuous little bursts. So your shutter, when it's open for that brief period of time, will have the subject bathed in light. So it does a really nice job of when you could use high shutter speeds and still use a flash, because most like Nikons, the maximum flash sync's like 1/250th of a second, and with Canons it's 1/200th of a second. But if you could use a high speed flash sync, you could really get these high shutter speeds. What happens is, though, you have to open or close your aperture, or increase or decrease your ISO to properly expose the shot. So in this case, Adull used a f-stop of f11, which gave a maximum depth of field, so he could get the entire bird in focus. But he increased his ISO to get it exposed properly. So it's a bit of a trade-off. He's going to increase his depth of field so he gets everything in focus, but increasing the ISO so he exposes it properly will introduce some noise in the shot. This shot here, similar. I like the background here. It looks like they might have been Christmas lights, and when you're focusing on something in the foreground, the Christmas lights go, all out of focus, and they get larger, and it's a really nice effect. In this case here, the shot would have been perfect, except the bird's tail is cut off a little bit. Also, you might have wanted to just use a slightly slower shutter speed on both of the last two shots. When on a hummingbird, it's a neat effect to get the wings totally frozen like this, but sometimes it just looks like the bird is hanging by a string, and we want to show a little movement in the wingtips. So if you were at 1/4000th of a second, we would have had just a little more blur in the wingtips, and I think it might have helped the shots look a little more realistic. Even though it's a real bird, but it would look more realistic overall. This shot too, very very nice shot. The lights again in the background is a nice effect. That was a really nice idea Adull had to do, and it really looks nice. The bird again, really nice shot. High speed sync, 1/8000th of a second, f9, ISO 640. So in this case too, I would probably bring down my shutter speed just a little bit so we could just get a little more blur in the wings, and then you could lower your ISO too, and you won't have the chance of introducing as much noise. Again, similar shot, very well done. Same deal here, 1/8000th of a second, f8, ISO 640. This flower here, it's kind of a weird light where the light's coming down, and all this is in shadow, so it's a nice effect. It's soft, it's a little soft, the focus, it's a solid color, but it's a nice shot. Typical kind of the obligatory sunset I always talk about. We always take our sunset shots. It's very well done. Not a lot, interesting in the shot. We just have some trees that are silhouetted. Looks like we might have a road over here, but not a lot going on. This one, we work the scene and try to get something really interesting in the shot with the sunset. The sunset serves as the backdrop, and whatever else is in the shot is the true subject of the shot, not really the sunset. It's a nice shot. I like it a lot. The color is kind of weird, but I like it. I mean, it's. I'm sure Adull did this on purpose. I think, you know, typical color balance might be something more like that, where this looks more, you know, silvery looking. But it's a nice shot. I mean, I like the composition and I like the effect he did. Very cool. This shot too, really nice, nice leading lines. You guys know you use a really long shutter speed and you shoot with a tripod. You get, whenever cars go by, you get this like streak of light effect from the headlights and the tail lights. And it's a really cool effect, and it's really nicely done. This shot too, same, you know, very nice long shutter speed, kind of smooths the water out. It's obvious that Adull pointed his camera down so he got all the reflections in the shot, so it's really nice effect. Color too is a little bit like kind of on the warm side, kind of, you know, so you could go to the more, I guess, I don't want to call it natural look, but that's another look I guess you could have. This is what you typically probably see when you took this shot, but you know, Adull chose this look, and it does look pretty cool. It might be the last one. Yep, that's it. Adull, again, I apologize, I can't pronounce your last name, but I will write it in the description below so everyone could check out Adull's work. Thank you very much for sharing your work with us, and I'd like to thank everyone that watches all my videos. I really appreciate it. And if you have time, go over to my website, anthonymorganti.com. I have all kinds of photography stuff over there, and if you could, I'd really appreciate it if you went to YouTube and subscribed to my YouTube channel. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.